everyone, welcome here to MoreTalkFCB and welcome to the crucial weekend clash between Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, live from the Camp Nou in what could prove to be a title decider in La Liga. And of course right here, ahead of a game of that magnitude, we are going to be looking at all of the quotes from Ronald Koeman ahead of this match. And certainly from him, I think you could sense there the importance of this game, the pressure that was on not only his shoulders but also the players, that he was also asked about a wide-ranging topics, including the fact that he's unlikely to be on the bench. Does he agree with that? Certainly not. It's coming right up. So let's get to it. But if we first of all start with one of the opening questions actually in today's press conference, it wasn't about the match at all. It was actually about the gathering that took place there at Lionel Messi's house at the very beginning, of course, of this week. After our win over Valencia, Messi there held a gathering for the full squad ahead of what is a huge week to come to really bring the team together ahead of the final stage of the season. But that hasn't gone down well with La Liga. They have opened their unofficial investigation into that gathering there at Messi's house because they believe that it breached COVID regulations on that particular day, which for me seems very, very strange given these players train together, they're with each other, they're in the dressing room together almost every single day of their lives. What is the difference there between that and going to somebody's house where indeed they were outside and in Messi's, what is, let's face it, very large garden? Koeman said though, I don't think that it's the right moment to talk about this kind of issue. He's quite frustrated here about this question. He said the match is all I'm focusing on right now. I'm not going to go into this. Hopefully there, nothing will come of that investigation, like I say. But then, of course, it was on to the game itself. Then it was on to the really important stuff tomorrow, coming up against Atletico Madrid. But Koeman was asked there about the poor record and the difficult games that Barca have had in big games this season. Does he feel as though that could have a bearing on this result? But Koeman there played down that poor record. He said, yep, it is true that throughout the season we've had our ups and downs. But he said, look, that's the same as any team. He said, we've recovered well. We got the points that we needed to be in this title fight. And Koeman admitted, he said it's not really something that we expected to be in. It's not that position that we expected a few months ago. So that's very interesting there. Before Koeman then was asked about whether or not this game is a decisive one. Will the league be decided this weekend? Of course, it's not only Barca against Atletico, but also Real Madrid against Sevilla. Will this game be the one that ultimately decides where the title ends up? But again, Koeman very much playing it down. He said, I don't think tomorrow's result is going to be decisive. He said there's still going to be 3 more games to play after this one. So he said, yes, it is going to be an important game, but decisive? He said, I feel no. And I would disagree there with Koeman. I honestly do believe it's now or never. We have to win this game. If we don't win this game, it's no good saying there that, we got 3 more games, things can happen. This is where it counts. This is where it matters. We simply have to win. And of course, there was questions there on the return of Luis Suarez. We're going to be talking a lot about him in the match preview later on today. Koeman was asked there whether the players will be especially motivated to face Suarez, their former teammate and indeed the friend of many of our players. And Koeman said for sure, he said it is going to be, I'm sure, a bit strange there for Suarez and indeed our players too. He said he played here for a very long time. He said, I don't think though that we need to focus solely on him. Koeman there was stressing, we don't need to give special attention all on one player. He said we need to focus on the whole team, the whole objective. He said in that sense, it's a normal game for me. He said nothing special, business as usual. I thought it was interesting then where Koeman was asked about Ousmane Demblélé, who has been pretty much absent in the team in the recent games. He spent a lot of time there on the bench. He hasn't really been in the starting lineup. And Koeman was asked there, is it a tactical decision or is it more of a physical decision, given that maybe Dembélé is suffering with a few problems physically? But Koeman said, no, I count on him. He said, I count on all of the players there who are included in the squad. He said tomorrow he could start from the bench again. He said, or he could make the starting 11. He said tomorrow we will line up with a team that we feel has the best chance to win the game. And I think it's going to be interesting to see, will Dembélé feature or will he again be on the bench? And if he is, will he come on though? Another interesting question there came in terms of Ronald Koeman and those tactical changes that he can sometimes make in games. And during the last press conference there before Villarreal, he admitted that he spoke with the captains before he made any of those tweaks. And Koeman was basically asked, were you surprised with Messi's tactical knowledge and Messi's tactical understanding? Koeman said though, Messi's been playing now for many, many years. He said he has so much experience. He said, I already knew before we worked together, and then I saw it when I arrived that he has such a great tactical understanding. And he said the great thing is he doesn't just think about himself. He doesn't just think about the best way for him to play, how to get the best out of him as an individual, but he said he thinks as well about his teammates. He wants to get the best there out of the whole team and I think that's great. Then came indeed the questions about Ronald Koeman being suspended potentially, and it does look as though he is not going to be on the bench for tomorrow's game, given the fact there that despite numerous appeals, Barça cannot get that 2-game suspension reduced, although it is going there to the Court of Arbitration of Sport. Koeman said, it is important, I feel, for me to be there on the touchline. He said, I hope they can make the decision there on the appeal before tomorrow. He said, I don't really understand why it takes so long. But he said, look, if I'm not there, we're just going to do exactly the same as we did against Valencia. He said, it worked in that game. He said, our staff are very, very good. Our ideas are the same. He said, we don't need to go crazy if I'm not there on the bench. But it was interesting then, because Koeman was asked very, very straight up there, a very direct question. Do you feel as though it was something personal from the Federation, from La Liga there, to suspend you for 2 games for saying something there like, what a character? That seems like such a harsh suspension. Do you feel as though that was a personal attack on you? And Koeman actually said, what I can say is that, yeah, he said, I feel as though it is something personal against me. He said, because like what I said, what a character. He said, that's not offensive, that's not insulting. He said, it's not a reason there to suspend somebody from the touchline for 2 games. He said, it has to be something personal. That's the only explanation. And it doesn't really get much better in terms of the refereeing for Barcelona, because tomorrow's game will be officiated there by none other than Mattia Lahoz. And Koeman there was asked about his thoughts there on the selection of referee for tomorrow. And Koeman actually found this question pretty funny. He was laughing. He said, maybe it's better that I don't share my opinion on the referees. He said, I think tomorrow, though, we have one of the best refs, Koeman there, praising Lahoz. He said, hopefully he and VAR make the right calls that are fair for everyone. Finally though guys, Ronald Koeman was asked about Ansu Fati, and the latest update on that front is that yesterday on Thursday in Portugal, Ansu Fati there did indeed go under the surgery that we discussed earlier on in the week. But the good news is, right now it's being reported that it's unconfirmed though by the club that Ansu Fati's entire meniscus, it was not removed. That is the feeling right now in the media, and that would be absolutely fantastic news if it was true, with the surgery apparently there only removing again part of that meniscus, the part that was still not healing. And it should also be noted that this surgery was done by a completely different surgeon to previous surgeries that Ansu Fati has undergone. Koeman said, I haven't yet spoken with Ansu since that surgery, but he said I spoke with him before he left for Portugal. He said, of course, we encouraged him. He said he spoke with the doctor yesterday afternoon at the club. He said it is true, the poor kid has had such bad luck. He said he's had things that haven't gone his way, that haven't gone well. He said hopefully now he can recover. He said that's all we want. We want him back with us, healthy, next season. He said he's been a huge loss to this team. And so that there, guys, was indeed the thoughts of Ronald Koeman ahead of what is, regardless of what anyone says, this game, it is decisive. This is a big, big game for Ronald, for the team. We have to come out on top to keep our title hopes alive. Barça are under pressure, but can we come out the other side and perform in this moment? Let me know your thoughts and all of your expectations ahead of tomorrow's game. And like I say, the full match preview coming up later today over on TalkFCB. We are getting ready, and we hope the team are too. I'll see you later, guys. Thanks indeed for watching. But until next time, as always, Visca El Barça.